A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan.
In the event, most of the patients in the areas hit by this strike had recently been moved to the hospital's underground medical shelters.
What if I told you the next world war might not begin with a bang, but with a televised address, a social media blackout, and a missile strike cloaked in political spin? Welcome to Future Forward, where global truth meets tomorrow's perspective. Before we dive into the unfolding storm, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give a thumbs up if you're serious about staying informed, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from: the USA, Canada, Europe, or even behind a digital wall in China. Because what you're about to witness may just reshape the geopolitical chessboard forever. Saturday night. Prime time. The world pauses. Donald Trump, calm yet charged with intent, takes the stage and, in a tone both defiant and triumphant, delivers one chilling phrase: a spectacular military success. He's referring to the U.S. airstrikes that leveled 3 Iranian nuclear facilities, 3 critical facilities.
Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success.
Reduced to rubble. But beneath that scripted triumph and patriotic applause, something darker simmers. Spectacular? Let me ask you this. When did spectacular become a word we use to describe war? Meanwhile, Iran's foreign minister sends a message to the world, a warning cloaked in diplomacy but seething with threat. Any further U.S. involvement in the escalating Israel-Iran conflict will be, quote, very, very dangerous. Translation? We're on the edge. Think about it. The last time tensions in this region hit such extremes, oil prices soared, global markets buckled, and countless lives were lost. But this time, nuclear sites are part of the equation. This isn't just regional volatility. This is a global. Flashpoint.as physical strikes rain down. So does Iran's digital curtain. Entire swaths of the internet go dark. News platforms vanish. And in the void, a single app rises: Telegram. Though officially banned, millions of Iranians use VPNs to access it. For many, it's their only connection to uncensored information, their only link to family, their last grasp on truth. Imagine living in a country where the only real news comes from an app you're not allowed to have. This isn't just censorship. It's a full-scale assault on awareness. Because today's wars aren't only fought on battlefields, they're fought in the cloud. And while Iran's citizens try to connect in the darkness, a different kind of confusion takes hold in the United States.
Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
On live TV, Trump is asked why he believes Iran is building nuclear weapons when his own intelligence agencies say there's no evidence. His response: then my intelligence community is wrong. Wait, what? Quick quiz. What do you call a country where the president dismisses official intelligence reports simply because they don't match his narrative?
So you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon. Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Mr. President, did the Europeans help at all in talking with the Iranians?
No, they didn't help. No.
20.
Iran doesn't want to speak to Europe. They want to speak to us.
As this bizarre political theater plays out in press briefings and airport tarmacs, missiles strike Israeli cities. In Beersheba, a hospital is hit. The world holds its breath. So the question becomes, are we witnessing policy or watching the fuse burn toward an unstoppable explosion. Markets are jittery. Global leaders whisper behind closed doors. Enemies regroup. Trump calls for peace, telling Iran to stand down. But here's the problem. Iran isn't standing down. And with their nuclear infrastructure now compromised, do they double down in defiance? Do they accelerate what they had paused? Because this isn't just about weapons. It's about national pride. It's about retaliation. It's about survival. And here's a terrifying thought. What happens when a nation feels cornered and still has missiles left to launch? Amid all of this chaos, it's the people, Iranian civilians, American families, soldiers on both sides, who are caught in the middle. They become pawns in a game far too dangerous to be played by egos and headlines. But this is where you come in. Because information is power, and the more we understand, the harder it becomes to be manipulated by fear or misinformation. We are not fortune tellers, but we are truth seekers. And we have to ask, is this the moment history will look back on as the spark that ignited a much larger fire? Or is this just another reckless move in a dangerous geopolitical game of chicken? If you believe awareness is stronger than ignorance, then like this video, share it, subscribe to this channel, because silence is no longer neutrality. And don't go just yet. Check out our next video. Will China step in? The hidden axis of power in the Middle East conflict. It's right here on the screen. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is Trump protecting peace or provoking chaos? This is Future Forward. Stay informed, stay aware, and before we go, let's ask the question no one's comfortable answering. We often praise technology as the engine of progress. But what if it's also the architect of our destruction? In the world we live in now, missiles don't crawl, they streak across the sky faster than sound. Wars are live-streamed, with real-time reactions measured in retweets. And truth? It's algorithmically filtered, from AI-guided drones to hypersonic weapons, from deepfake diplomacy to state-sponsored cyber sabotage. The battlefield has changed. And you don't need boots on the ground anymore to start a war. Yet while we admire these so-called marvels of human advancement, few of us ask, what are we really building? In Iran, the internet didn't just go down, it was taken down. A digital strike meant to silence a nation. Telegram became a lifeline, not just for messaging, but for survival. VPNs are now weapons of truth, and even as satellites hover above, tracking every move with godlike accuracy, truth on the ground has never been harder to see. Misinformation isn't a glitch, it's a strategy. Control the narrative, and you control the war that we built machines to make life easier. But they've now evolved into systems that decide who lives and who doesn't. And here's the most chilling thought of all. Could the next global war be launched by an AI before a human even knows it started? From automated surveillance to vulnerable nuclear infrastructure, the very tools we rely on for protection are increasingly turning into threats that we're not just living in the future anymore. We're surviving it. Technology doesn't start wars, but in the wrong hands, it makes them faster, harder to stop, and infinitely more devastating. The line between innovation and escalation has never been thinner. So ask yourself, if technology can start a war, can it also stop one? Or are we accelerating toward a future we can't walk back from?
Israel decided to start a war, they can uphold it on their own.
If needs be, we need to protect the world.
Israel attacked Iran under the pretense that they possibly were close to getting a nuclear weapon.
And possible involvement with the U.S.
And now it's probably coming to a decision point.
No comment on that.
I'm hopeful that the United States does not get into this conflict.
If the political negotiations do not proceed, I think the U.S. should probably join the conflict.
Absolutely not.
The U.S. has to be forcing, as we are, Iran to reach an accord.
Unless it becomes necessary, I think we just should remain on the side.
I think we have invested enough money in wars, and somehow they need to settle it.
I don't think that they should join the war. I'm worried about possible global war.
I think that this is kind of a flashback to when we invaded Iraq with the weapons of mass destruction that was put out there. Of course, never materialize. So, I think we let Israel fight their own battles.
It's not our responsibility to send American lives to go die for a cause that's not ours.
I'm worried about somebody that radical having a nuclear power. I'm not worried about the U.S. trying to get rid of those bombs.
I have grandsons, and I don't want them to have to go to a war.